Learning a few halachas a day, or middle of Kitzur Yomi, and we're learning the importance and the power of Hashem's name. And we learned last week that if one is mikalel, if one curses his friend, even without utilizing necessarily the Shem Hashem of Adonos, but even with a different language, by saying God and then saying negative to someone else, even that should not be said. And he continues the Kitzur on page 47 over here, and he continues, and he says, even if you say it in the reverse, you say a person should not have bracha, but you say it with Hashem's name, that's also completely inappropriate. And now he continues and he says, the care that must be given by writing Hashem's name. You write Hashem's name in any language, he says this is something that people err in. Apparently in German, they used to write Aleph, Daled, Yod, Ayin, Adyu, which is a German word that means God. And even in English, many say that you should not write G-O. The language barrier over here. G-O-D. German, Hebrew, English. I can't talk any of them. G-O-D. Rather, this is why many people write either G-D or G-D, and that's the reason is because you should not write the Shem Hashem. And he says very powerful words over here. What happens, you write Hashem's name on a paper, and this happens in Torah papers, unfortunately, and then they get thrown around, and they end up, he says, Kilach Zman Yiskagul HaMichtav B'Hashba V'Davar Zeh Goyim Aniyos B'Yisrael. Unfortunately, this could cause poverty. Mashashem Shemayim Matzi, the fact that you find Hashem's name lying around, and it's Mikol Shkein, it's in a Bizayon Chas V'Shalom, and therefore one has to be very careful. Anything that has the Shem Hashem, anything that is published, to utilize with the utmost importance. And finally, he says, what happens if you have to say Hashem's name? So what do you say? He says, say Hashem. He says, not like those that do v'lo k'moshe toyim he'halmayin. Many people, they say Adoi Shem. He says Adoi Shem is not appropriate. It's not derech. It's not kavod. Rather, what should you say? You should say Hashem. But we remind ourselves, it's really what we learned last week, is that if you're saying it in the appropriate manner, you're saying it in the manner of a bracha, then of course you are allowed to say Hashem's name. It's the fact if you're not saying it as a bracha. And we'll conclude over here, in which he says, what happens if you start saying a bracha? Unfortunately, this happens, and you realize either you made the bracha, or you realize some other things. You said, Baruch Atah Hashem. Very important. A lot of people mess this one up. If you said, Baruch Atah Hashem, Ado Hashem, I'm just trying to say Aleph, Daled, Nun, Yod, then you end off, Lamdeini Chukecha. But if you said, Baruch Atah Hashem, Elokeinu melech ha'olam, now it's too late. There's no pasuk, Elokeinu melech ha'olam, Asher kedeshanu, Soisav yitzivanu lamdeini chukecha. That doesn't work. And what that means is, you made a mistake, it happens, then what do? You say, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchus Li'olam Vad. So again, if you caught yourself after Aleph, Daled, Nun, Yod, then you're allowed to end off Lamdeini Chukecha. If you did not catch yourself, then it's a mistake, we messed up, and then we say, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchus Li'olam Vad, have a fabulous